Hi guys! What's up? Let's take a break from playing online games and take the time to listen to our lesson for today. And without further ado, let's start our discussion. Our topic for today is active and passive voice. But do you have any idea about this topic? If no, then keep on watching. So, what is active voice? Active voice is when the subject of a sentence performs the verb's action. We say that the sentence is in the active voice. Sentences in the active voice have a strong, direct, and clear tone, meaning to say, in active voice, the subject performs the action. Here are some short and straightforward examples of active voice. Let's say you saw your favorite volleyball player Hinata retrieve a ball. Thus, Hinata retrieved the ball. As you can see here, the subject of the sentence is Hinata and performs the action described by the verb retrieve. This is an example of active voice because Hinata is the one who performs the verb. Let's try the next example. Mitsuha wrote an. Can you guess where's the subject here? That's right! Mitsuha is the subject while wrote is the verb. It is easy to identify what is the active voice. Just always remember that the subject always comes first before the verb. Hope you guys understand what is active voice. Now, let's proceed with our last topic. So, what is passive voice? Passive voice is when the subject is acted on by the verb. The passive voice is always constructed with the form of to be plus the verb's past participle. Doing this usually generates a preposition as well. Passive voice is actually quite easy to detect. In other words, in passive voice, the subject receives the action. Now, for examples, the ball was retrieved by Hinata and the name was written by Mitsuha. Let's take a closer look at the first pair of sentences. The ball was retrieved by Hinata. Here, the thing acted upon is the subject of the sentence. This is an example of passive voice. As you can see, both sentences make sense for their own specific situations and both are grammatically correct. The structures of a same sentence for both voices are as follows. In active voice, subject plus verb plus object, while in passive voice, object plus verb plus subject. I hope you take down notes so you won't get confused about what makes the active and passive voice differentiate from each other. But now, I will teach you the basic rules for changing active into passive voice sentence. Let's go to the first rule. Rule number 1. The structure of sentence will be reversed in passive voice. The subject will be interchanged to the place of object and the object will take the place in passive voice, like this example. She sliced a chocolate cake. As you can see, this sentence is in active voice. But if we change and follow the said rules into passive voice, it will be a chocolate cake was sliced by her. Let's go to the next rule. Rule number 2. Only past participle form or third form of the verb will always be used as main verb in passive voice for all tenses. No other form of verb will be used as main verb. Look, this rule is too easy, right? Then let's go to rule number 3. Rule number 3. The word by will be used before subject in passive voice. For example, he drinks the water. And if we change it into passive voice, what do you think is its new form? Then it will be Water was drunk by him. As you can tell, we still follow the other rules like the first and second steps by interchanging its form and still using the past participle as the main verb. Did you understand the rule number 3? Let's proceed with the last rule. Rule number 4. Subject may not be always mentioned in passive voice. Passive voice can also be written without having subject if it gives clear idea about the subject, like this following. Women are not treated as equals, and another example is sugar is sold in kilograms. We can already understand these two sentences because it already gives us an exact idea about the written topic. The mentioned rules are the basic rules for changing active voice into passive voice sentence. I hope you already know how to convert active to passive. Now, we will proceed with the basic rules on how to change the passive voice to active voice sentence. In order to change passive voice to active voice sentence, you need to recognize what the subject of the sentence is and then rewrite the sentence so the subject is performing the action. Let's use the following examples to understand how to change passive voice to active voice sentence. Lovely songs are sung by Lara, and will the message be delivered by her? We can recognize that this sentence are in passive voice because the passive keyword song in the first example is used, same as the first example the keyword delivered. Also, it is not initially clear who or what the sentence is about. In order to change the sentence from passive to active voice sentence, we have rule number 1. To identify the subject of the sentence, it should answer the question, who is doing an action? Let's try the first example. Lovely songs are sung by Lara. In this sentence, do you know who is doing an action? Obviously, the word lovely songs is not doing an action, so it can be the subject. Who is the subject in the sentence? Okay, so the only person or thing doing an action here is Lara. She is the one who performs the action, so Lara is the subject of the sentence. The next example is, will the message be delivered by her? Same step as the first one. Who is doing an action? The word her is the subject here because it answers the question who. So she's the one who performs the action. And the word message is the object in the sentence followed by the verb delivered. Now that we already changed the passive into active voice sentence, we will now proceed with the last rule. Step 2 or rule number 2, rewrite the sentence so the subject is performing the action. Lara sings lovely songs and will she deliver the message? Can you see how they differ from one another? This rewrite makes it immediately clear to the reader who is doing what. The subject in active voice is doing the action, unlike the passive voice that focuses more in the action being performed. I hope you already know how to convert active into passive voice sentence and passive into active voice.
The importance of passive and active voice is passive voice can help in adding more description and help a writer develop the subject more in depth. In active writing, the action becomes more significant than the performer of the action. I hope you remember what we learned today and encourage your friends too to study with you in our next lesson.